back in the car, and it is actually the first day of qualifying at Gymkhana GRiD and Auto Circus, powered by AutoTrader, and I am sitting with Mathys Naude. So Mathys Naude is one of our social media ambassadors, and he's taking over Facebook, I think it is, this weekend. So it's partially me and partially him. So all the Facebook nonsense you're seeing, yeah, you can blame us for that. Mathys, how you doing?
Right, and you, Chad?
Yeah, doing good. So
good.
Tell the people out there, not many people are following it, or know who you are.
Yeah.
Who are you, and where do you come from? What do you do?
Yeah, well, I'm Mathys Naude. I've got my own workshop called the Eyebrow Service and Repair Centre here in Boksburg. So I hail from Boksburg as well. And yeah, I've been building my car for the past 8 years in stages. And yeah, this is where we're at today with a E36 BMW 540 V8 turbocharged. Flat out drift car basically. So yeah, it's only race built purposes, and yeah.
You've always been known as the blue boy.
Yes.
I mean, you started out, how did you start out with the drifting?
Okay, so basically I started out actually going to Gymkhana event, well, it practices at the Rock Raceway.
Yeah.
And we were doing some practicing and stuff with the Gymkhana setup. I was driving a 318 IS stock standard E36 Motorsport BMW.
1.9 litre 4-cylinder engine, like no power.
That time we dined and it made like 64 kilowatt on the wheels.
Not even three figures.
So yeah, and then basically we were doing, and they were doing drifting as well, practice and stuff. And I was like, I want to do that, you know, I want to drive like that. And then eventually ended up breaking the diff on that BM of mine.
Yeah.
So we had to repair it, and the only way we could do it was to lock it. And we locked it and started playing with the car, getting it sideways and feeling for it and all of that. And that's how I just started learning myself and seeing what the car does when you do what with it, you know, and just worked with it.
So now you've progressed to this one, and this isn't the same 318 that you started out with. There's been a slight evolution over the years.
Yes.
And the engine that you're running under here now actually doesn't belong here either.
No, not at all.
Like you were saying, it's the V8 out of a BMW 540.
Yes.
And you've turbocharged it.
Yes.
What sort of power are we making here?
Well, we added dyno tuned about 2 months ago. Then it was making on 0.4 bar boost, 280 kilowatt and 515 or somewhere around there Newton meters on the wheels. So yeah, no, and it's flat out reliable and all of that. It's on 95 pump fuel, so you know you can get fuel at the garage. You don't need to run around for race fuel and look for this, look for that. And so it's easy going and it's reliable. This motor's been running in this car for almost 4 years, which is the first 2 years was naturally aspirated, and then now it's obviously from 2 years ago almost turbocharged. So
and making that sort of power. Now Gymkhana is a little different because you built this, and this is, like you say, a purpose-built drift car. So how are you finding the change in mindset of driving Gymkhana versus what you're accustomed to every time you climb behind this wheel?
Look, on the drifting, we were discussing it earlier, but on the drifting it's very easier because your track is laid out for you and you've got one line you need to go and you've got 3 or 4 clipping points and that's it, you know. As to where, you've got a lot of obstacles and you need to remember which way around that obstacle you need to go, how many times you need to go around it. So,
very disorientating as well.
And then if you get the left hand lane right, which is obviously you're going to be turning left for the first corner, so and the opposite track is a mirror image, so then your mindset has to go completely in reverse because now you have to do everything the other way around,
from clockwise to anti-clockwise.
Exactly. So and that was confusing in the beginning, so now I think I've got it figured out. So we'll have to see how it's going to go with the qualifying session.
You had a practice earlier this morning.
Yes.
And how did that feel out there?
Well, it felt good and all of that, but I made a mistake on both my runs. As to where the one obstacle where we have to go around it twice, I only went around it once. So obviously I need to just remember which ones, like I said, because there's some of the obstacles you need to go around once and some of them twice. So you need to remember which ones, and that's quite difficult, especially you trying to be as quick as possible. You know, because you're racing against the clock, and if you're not as quick as possible, you won't get to proceed basically.
Semi-finals, eliminations, that.
And so your mind is working a lot more, in my opinion, than what it's working when you're drifting.
When you're drifting.
Yeah.
So you can't even liken this to like the concentration needed for, let's say, tandems. You know, as much as tandem drifting requires concentration,
Yes.
this is a different kind of concentration.
Yeah, no, completely. Yeah. I mean, I can feel personally when I'm tandeming, if you're up close to a car or whatever, you've got a lot more time to think. You know, you can react to what that guy's gonna do. If he's gonna slow down, you can still slow down. All of that stuff. And whereas, yeah, it's like I said, you don't have time to think. You have to just flip and go for it.
Yes.
And you can't back off, and then you still need to remember where to go for it. So,
And
yeah.
all the while you're sitting there and you're trying to balance now grip versus steering input around positioning of the vehicle, and that's all, you know, all that's weighing on you while you're still trying to remember everything. So
Exactly.
a lot to think about when it comes to Gymkhana.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to see that, or see why this is actually becoming such a popular form of motorsport, because there's a lot of drivers challenge here.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, not just only that, if you, or obviously on this competition level here, it's not that anybody can come and do it, obviously, but what I'm saying is, like, the local Gymkhana events and stuff, you can bring your daily driver, you know, and you can compete. So if you don't have the finances and stuff to have a motorsport vehicle or whatever,
Yes.
you can go and compete with it, you know. So that's what this sport is beautiful in that sense, because anybody can do it.
Yes.
You know, and then it's just
It's
you
accessible
get seat
almost.
time. Yes, exactly. Yeah, as to, you know, and also compared to where drifting and this, I'm looking at the amount of tire usage here so far, and it's not that bad, you know, because you're trying not to drift. You have to try and maintain the traction so that you get the drive to get to the next obstacle.
Yeah.
And so obviously, in a sense, it's cheaper to do this, but it depends to which competition level you're
Which
going to be
level
going.
you want to do it.
Yes.
Could you see yourself doing more of this in the future?
For sure. No, I'm having a ball out there. So, it's awesome meeting everybody, like all the international guys and all of that.
Yeah.
So, but it's fun to drive. You know, I just like being where I'm sitting now. When I'm in this car, the helmet's on, and all the worries you have, everything is gone. You know. So
That's the antidepressant.
Yes. No, completely. Yeah.
Fantastic. Mathys, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck. I hope that you get a good qualifier in there, and I hope you can manage to bring those times down.
No, for sure. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you.
All right,
guys, we're going to be bringing you more action from all around Gymkhana GRiD during the course of the day, and of course tomorrow is main event, and this is going to be running into the night. There's a whole big light and pyrotechnic show. It really is a spectacle. If you want to join at Carnival City on the East Rand, Gauteng, tickets available at ticketpros.co.za or at the gate. Be sure to make your way down here Saturday and Sunday.